1, 2, is this on?
In wrestling, the crowd might reject someone a company is trying to push, including those that were once beloved but the people have grown tired of, perhaps due to a storyline or bad booking.
Vince just wanted to push me, shove me down their throats as a babyface, and it just got, it got worse and worse.
As the fans let their feelings be known and their voices be heard.
I don't know who's booing. I'm thanking the ones who are not booing right now.
This might cause a wrestler to turn heel, or even remain a face, which can rile up the audience even more.
But he would join.
We'll take a look at various examples today as we list 10 times wrestling fans turn on their heroes.
I remember turning to Vince and like, what am I supposed to do?
In 2018, Ronda Rousey arrived in WWE to much press and hype. The first half of her run was handled well, as she was given time to plan out her matches, which received praise from fans. Things began to take a downward turn when the company tried to make Ronda cut scripted promos, when it was clear that wasn't her selling point.
I think Sasha making it better today than she was just... Alright, you got me to stutter, good job.
The initial cheers eventually turned to boos, because Ronda went from coming in as an authentic version of herself to the watered down character WWE were trying to make her.
I'm sure most of you guys know that last week, the Bella Twins. Last year I stepped into this ring for the first ever all-women's Royal Rumble.
The negative reaction really began to accelerate at Survivor Series, when Ronda was booed out of the building.
Unsympathetic Los Angeles crowd.
The WWE didn't turn Rousey heel until a month before the final match of her first run in March 2019, but the whole thing shows you how bad the company's creative was during this period, that they could mess up the baddest woman on the planet.
Ronda Rousey, Natalya, both former world champions.
And the more they screwed it up, the more Ronda wasn't feeling the character, hence the decline of her work. The Big Show and Kane have had an interesting relationship with the audience over the years. The two have turned back and forth between heel and face so many times that their booking and storylines has sometimes left fans in attendance silently scratching their heads. Even during moments when they're meant to be cheered, the crowd have reacted with pure indifference.
Big Show is going to WrestleMania! Can you believe it?
Monster is done. I thought Kane was going to come out here and literally rip his head off tonight. Well, it hasn't. Don't think he liked it. And Kane now stepped to the outside.
Fans really got fed up with the duo during their time as part of the Authority stable in 2014. Crowds were already restless when Show was heavily inserted into Daniel Bryan's feud with the faction the previous year. If the infamously hot and cold giant didn't side with the Authority, then why wait another 12 months to pull the trigger?
Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, the Big Show.
Kane meanwhile traded in the mask for a suit and slacks. This was easily one of the worst incarnations of the Big Red Machine. He lost almost every match and, like Show, had go-away heat with the fans.
Whoa! To invoke our rematch clause tonight. Just when Brock thought he was...
The people still respected them. They were just frustrated over the booking and bad creative. It was a far cry from the days when fans loved Masked Kane, or even cheered him on SmackDown in 2006 and 7. Show had even been world champion as recently as 2013 prior to turning heel again, but neither he nor Kane would ever be looked at the same by the higher-ups, following their work with the Authority.
That is a giant. I'm a giant.
You know, we heard you, John.
Yes, you are.
He just said that.
By 2016, they had both turned face, but were essentially glorified nostalgia acts who came in and out every so often.
He's the man.
Neither were used in an effective capacity, something Big Show vocally spoke out against, though nothing changed. 2018 was the last year Big Show and Kane were both semi-active on the roster simultaneously. Show and Kane were perhaps their most hated during the 2015 Royal Rumble debacle.
WWE fans, of course, not happy.
Where the fans turned on Roman Reigns because they wanted their hero, Daniel Bryan, to win. Reigns picked up the victory on the night, but his moment was marred by boos, which his cousin The Rock couldn't even prevent.
Well, wait a minute! There he is! Roman Reigns is going to WrestleMania!
Roman had been cheered as a face during his days in the Shield and leading up to the Rumble event. However, from this point on, the fans let Reigns have it. Since many of them didn't want to see him as the top dog, his segments were often jeered and overshadowed by the backlash.
I'm not a bad guy. I'm not a good guy. I'm the guy. This is my yard now. This is my yard. This is my yard now.
All the while, Reigns struggled to turn the audience.
I don't care what y'all say. This is my boy, and I'm happy for you. And I just want to say congrats, man. Now, hey, Chicago, this ain't boring, baby. This is real life. The match. Wait, y'all can't hear me or something? All the dudes chanting that I can't wrestle, calm down, take a sip of your beer and shut your mouth.
Roman's matches were regularly being hijacked due to how much he was being forced down our throats.
Roman still suffering from that low blow.
And one thing that AJ Styles knows, will that be a factor?
No question, his pace. And I do like the gameplay. I don't like you getting sucked in or the rest of us.
Oh my God. And now Lesnar delivering the straight right-handed blow.
In fact, numerous moments of his that would have been career-defining for most wrestlers are looked back on with disdain due to the WWE's failure to book Reigns as a babyface. After 2005, John Cena went through the same hardships Roman did 10 years after, and like Reigns, initially Cena was not equipped to handle the negative response, as he went from the edgy non-PG rapper to a more family-friendly poster boy for WWE. The negative reaction became more pronounced the longer Cena was the Federation's golden boy.
Cena has put RVD through the ringer this far, I'm telling you. He likes that chant.
Even though the jeers persisted long after, the 2006 Hall of Fame was a turning point in terms of John's ability to deal with the backlash.
I remember turning to Vince, I'm like, what am I supposed to do? He goes, just go out and smile.
He was booed out of the building in Chicago the whole weekend, including on Raw.
And if John Cena wins here tonight, he's going to disappoint a lot of fans. Listen to this.
Stop the music, I want to hear this.
However, what was different on these nights compared to before is that Cena had the people on his side once the promo was done.
And I may be a stupid son of a bitch, but I'm a tough son of a bitch. And half these people want to see me get my ass kicked anyway? You got your match, bitches.
John did this by being himself and staying true to his persona. Over the next decade, Cena possessed the ability to go from being booed at the start of a segment to being cheered at the end based on how he spoke to the people.
Now there's a guy wearing a Nordiques jersey over there. They left town in '96, but he will not give up because he fights for what he believes in.
He developed such a rapport with the crowd, even those who disliked him.
Let's go, Cena! Cena sucks!
It's why his heel turn in 2025 was so jarring in a sense that he opted for the low-hanging fruit when it came to his promo material, which was a far cry from the more nuanced way he communicated to viewers in the past. Some might say John was simply pandering to turn the tide, but how many wrestlers have you seen that were able to consistently turn the crowd like him?
Thank you very much for even mentioning me. Je vais te botter cul, which means...
Roman struggled to do it years later, so it shows you how good Cena truly was. Sure, we sometimes got the rated G Cena, who would dismiss his losses in an almost flippant manner, but more often than not, John backed up the content of his never give up mission statement as the polarizing top babyface that was often booed. The main thing was that people were reacting strongly, one way or another.
Because whether they like you or whether they hate you, The most important thing is that they feel strongly one way or the other.
Earlier we spoke about Roman Reigns being positioned as the hero when the fans demanded Daniel Bryan. 12 months before that, it was Batista in the same spot as Roman, as the fans wanted Bryan in WrestleMania 30's main event instead of the Animal. Dave even eliminated Reigns to win the 2014 Royal Rumble, back when fans were still accepting of Roman during his time with the Shield. Coming out of the Rumble, Batista became Bootista, since he received negative responses every week, which eventually forced the heel turn.
You know, it kind of breaks my heart when I get fans, you know, saying I don't deserve it.
Batista, the winner of this year's Royal Rumble match.
Side of Batista's head.
WWE fans getting all over Batista.
Batista.
13,000 plus. Here comes a boot from Easter. Boot Easter.
We sent Big Batista packing.
It was a case of right guy, right place, wrong time.
Vince just wanted to push me, you know, shove me down their throats as a babyface, and it just got, you know, it got worse and worse, and the more they shoved me down people's throats, the more they resented me for being there.
Though the Animal did a fine job leading into the controversy while being leveled with chants. Batista was previously one of the most popular stars in WWE, but the company he returned to was much weaker from a creative standpoint. After finishing up in June, Dave wanted to return and work SummerSlam to promote his Guardians of the Galaxy movie. However, Triple H and Stephanie McMahon refused. Rather than being supportive of Dave, they laughed him off and questioned if the movie was even going to be successful.
I said, wouldn't it be great if I was back? And the number, you know, I was also in the #1 movie in the world, and they kind of had a snicker, and it was, you know, yeah, we don't even know if the movie's going to be good. And it was one of those moments. It was a very uncomfortable moment where I think they were just kind of doubting me and laughing in my face, and it's like, okay, but it's not that I wanted to leave. I even wanted to come back. I mean, you know, they're really difficult to work with, man, and they're just not very, very flexible.
It just goes to show you how warped of an attitude the higher-ups can have at times. The fact that they would openly disrespect a star like Batista, who quite rightly left the company following his subsequent success in Hollywood, and thus we've rarely seen him return since. Perhaps we could have seen Dave drop back in every so often, had WWE not dismissed him in 2014, when his film career was just getting off the ground. Before Batista became arguably the best wrestler turned actor, the dawn of Hollywood Rock in 2003 saw Dwayne Johnson embrace his career as a movie star on WWE programming. This character was born after the people had enough of the Great One leaving to do movies, only to return months later and then leave again at a later date. SummerSlam 2002 was the final straw. Rock passed the torch to Brock Lesnar on a night where the Long Island faithful let the Brahma Bull have it.
With the Rock, keeping the leverage down, keeping the pressure on the lower back.
The once beloved People's Champion had now split the audience.
It doesn't matter where the Rock has come back to. Sing along with the Rock is over.
He appeared one more time before turning heel, which came at the Raw 10th anniversary show. The New Yorkers in attendance went in on Rocky, following a weak babyface promo that was pre-taped, as opposed to being live via satellite.
Rock's here via satellite.
Matter of fact, we can't go on. No. The Rock can't go on before he says one thing. The Rock has got to say this, considering where we're at.
This was rare for Rock, who always did his segments live. There is no way he would have cut the same promo otherwise, given the negative response. When the Great One finally came out in front of the people again a few weeks later, he fully embraced the jeers, healing it up like never before.
Sold out. He sold out arenas all over the world, you idiots.
There's a Rocky chant. Rocky sucks.
The Rock here's Rocky. The Rock here's Rocky sucks. The Rock hurt over here. The Rock here's Hogan. But hey, that's enough.
Hollywood Rock received mostly boos over the next couple months, but it got to the point where he was so entertaining, the crowd were cheering him once more. But fans won't forget the ride the People's Champ took them on during Hollywood Rock's 3-month run. As an EVP and one of the founding members of All Elite Wrestling, Cody Rhodes made a deliberate effort not to book himself on top during his time with the company. Despite being one of the promotion's top stars, Rhodes positioned himself away from the world title picture, where he instead wrestled for the TNT Championship.
If I do not defeat Chris Jericho at Full Gear, I will never challenge for the AEW World Championship again.
He worked with various up-and-comers and mid-card talent, often doing the honors and putting them over. Cody even feuded with lower-card wrestlers during his final year with AEW, including QT Marshall and Anthony Ogogo. However, this is where fans started to turn on the American Nightmare. The awful rivalry with Ogogo was followed up with average feuds against Malachi Black and Andrade. Rhodes had essentially booked himself into a corner by not wanting to challenge for the title or wrestle in main event programs.
So to make political decisions like boxing myself out of winning a world championship, those decisions in hindsight were not the correct decisions. And if I can't be the best wrestler in the world on television because I'm afraid I'm going to offend colleagues because I am also their boss, that was the situation we were in, and I just played it in the middle. There was only so much of playing it in the middle I could do.
Which meant his overall work suffered. It led to polarizing reactions similar to that of John Cena's, where half the crowd were cheering while the other half were booing, as Rhodes remained a face which only drew more cheers.
But he would join
Tony. It was another one.
and Tully Blanchard. The easy way out is not the way. I will not turn.
It would have been interesting to see how this played out going forward, but at the start of 2022, Cody left AEW to join WWE, where he became a beloved top babyface, a far cry from the mixed reactions he received during his last months in All Elite. The famous double turn between Bret Hart and Stone Cold at WrestleMania 13 was executed to perfection, as the Hitman officially became a heel on the night. But if you watched the build-up to this match, then you saw how Bret had become a crybaby in the eyes of the fans, to the point where he began to receive boos on television a few weeks before Mania, since many viewers were tired of his persistent complaining.
To make some kind of comment. Incidentally,
even though the Hitman had fair grounds to be so upset after constantly getting screwed, the way he went about it rubbed the audience the wrong way.
you screw me, everybody screws me, and nobody does a goddamn thing about it. Nobody in the building cares, nobody in the dressing room cares. So much goddamn injustice around here, I've had it up to here.
It was a great storyline where much of the heat put on Bret was channeled through Austin, whose rebellious attitude struck a chord with the fans, especially given the juxtaposition between Steve and the moany, why always me Bret.
Bret Hart, ever since you came back, you ain't done nothing but cry.
Unlike our other examples on the list, Bayley wasn't booed for an extended period after some fans first turned on her, though her reactions certainly diminished. Following great success in NXT, the start of Bayley's run on the main roster was handled relatively well, but things began to fall off a cliff following WrestleMania 33 due to some atrocious creative.
This is hard to watch. Bayley, this is your life. Remember that one? That was crickets. Wasn't Bayley's fault, by the way.
First, she lost the title in her hometown, and then going into the Extreme Rules event, the build-up suggested her character was about to develop more of an edge, which would lead to her finally pulling the trigger at the pay-per-view. But this went out the window when she took too long to use a weapon on the night and was easily defeated. From there, Bayley's reaction lessened to the point where she was heavily booed on the August 7, 2017 Raw.
I don't know who's booing. I'm thanking the ones who are not booing right now from the WWE Universe.
Bizarro world here in Toronto.
And it's not because the show emanated from Toronto, which WWE always labels as Bizarro World, because of how their passionate crowd see through the company's phony booking. The problem was Bayley's character had been greatly damaged due to creative's misguided direction.
I knew it was time for, I already felt it was time for a change. It was just not working anymore. Because of the kind of babyface I was, because of the kind of character I was, I just wasn't seen at that level. That's when it was like, I was getting anxious, like, I need to get out of here.
Some fans believe she had the potential to be the female John Cena, given her amazing run in NXT, and while Bayley has no doubt become one of the greats, her initial run on the main roster was a huge stumbling block. Charlotte has been booed at different points in her career, while also being a popular fan favorite. Though the backlash she faced upon returning in 2025 was particularly strong. Flair returned as a babyface, but it wasn't long until she turned heel after her first promo back, coming off a big victory in the Royal Rumble. It was meant to be a heartfelt emotional address after returning from a one-year layoff due to a lengthy injury.
Tore my ACL, sprained my MCL, shaved down my meniscus.
However, the Queen was booed all throughout. She was stopped a few times, but there was no way back. She was a heel.
Hi, Cleveland. A year and a half ago, you guys booing me would have bothered me. But here's the thing. I missed you guys. I didn't even know if I was going to make it to WrestleMania. You guys don't get it. This is what I think about.
Charlotte's persona is naturally a heel anyway, especially since she gives off massive Homelander or Cristiano Ronaldo vibes.
See, when you boo, you know what I hear? Money!
Now if you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out our similar video on the 10 most desperate things WWE ever did for ratings. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.